Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jupiter James and this is Astro Motivation, where I awaken the astrologer within you and aim to give you a little inspiration and motivation per your unique placement within your birth chart. You know, I really do feel that before a time of iPhones and iPads and I this and I that, we were a culture and a society that were better able to look up at the stars and understand exactly where our dreams were and how to get them. And so if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get into it. Today I'm excited to bring you all a very exciting topic, and that is to continue forward within my conjunction series. And in this particular video, we're going to get into some of the more karmic conjunctions, okay? One of the most karmic ones being the South Node, okay? Conjunctions to the South Node, all right? And what the South Node entails, I have a video on my channel that gives a very dive deep into what the South Node is for all of you out there and what it means. But what the South Node is, just to reiterate, is a point in your chart that shows your past life. It also shows what you are quite comfortable in within this life and something you are skilled and blessed in this life, but it is equally something you are meant to let go, relinquish, and move on from, so that you are able to attain your destiny in this here lifetime, okay? And so it's very, very important as budding astrologers out there, or people who are just curious about their chart and how to get to their destiny, what conjunctions to your South Node are present in your chart, because the conjunctions to your South Node will show what skills and what blessings you have come in this life with, and what you are also meant to somewhat relinquish and move on from. That way you are able to attain alignment in this here lifetime, okay? And so if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and put some instructions on how to locate and find your South Node position in your chart, okay? And so once you follow those instructions, go ahead and tap the appropriate timestamp within this video and let's go ahead and get started, all right? Let's say in your chart you have the sun conjunct your South Node. Now, as we know, the sun in our birth chart indicates your identity, okay? It is the self. It is where you shine in life. And depending on what area of your birth chart your sun is in, it will show where you are able to gain gratification, where you are able to shine, and where your identity is kind of wrapped up in a certain energy or sign, right? And so when it is conjunct the South Node being a past life blessing, a comfortability zone, it is also something that becomes a bit of a, it becomes a comfort zone and it becomes a spiritual blessing at the same time, but it is something that you are meant to release in this life, okay? So whatever house, whatever sign your South Node is in, you are meant to release the comfortability of that area so that you then are able to go towards your North Node and achieve alignment and destiny in this here lifetime. And so when you have a South Node conjunct Sun, this could be a little bit of a tricky type of conjunction, because this kind of is the release of self. This is the release of that energy or that identification within that certain energy. You see, when you have your sun conjunct South Node, this is more of the energy of like you've already mastered your sun sign, so to speak. So whatever your sun is in as far as the sign goes, and you have the South Node there as well, you've mastered this energy in either the past life or earlier in this here lifetime. You've mastered the associations with that particular sign, with that particular house, with that particular energy. So much so that that mastery almost becomes spiritual for you. You know, you do that energy so well, you do that sun sign signature so well that it becomes something that is almost spiritual for you, right? You will even be seen as someone with the South Node conjunct Sun. You will be seen as quite a spiritual person, but you are meant to relinquish your outdated sense of self. You know, you may overdo it in this energy as well. That could also be the risk that you may run when you have a South Node conjunct Sun, is that whatever sign your sun sign is in, you may overdo it, or you may overcompensate or over-identify with that particular energy because you find it very comfortable. But you being in that, although it is a blessing and it is mastery, if you cling too tightly to that identification, let's say you are a sun in Pisces, a sun in Virgo, a sun in Capricorn, whatever your sun sign may be, you will be overcompensating in that area, or you'll be overly comfortable in that area to the extent where it prevents you from growth in this lifetime. It prevents you from going towards your North Node. And so your North Node is going to challenge you to be a little uncomfortable. It's going to, because you're relinquishing that certain identification within that sun sign or within that house that your sun conjunct south node is in, if you do not release it or if you do not relinquish it, you will find that there's no growth, that you stay stagnant in life. And so it's going to require a bit of uncomfortability for you, and it's going to feel almost like a shedding of the skin that you are needing to let go of in this here lifetime. A certain sense of self that you are meant to let go of, certain personality traits, certain habits, certain tics or quirks that come along with your particular sun sign. You're gonna have to learn to relinquish that a little bit, because you already have mastered it. You've already done it. You're already comfortable in it. You already, maybe earlier in this life, you've gotten the gratification for it. You know, people say, oh my God, you're such an awesome whatever your sign is, or you are such a quintessential Capricorn. You know, I'm listing out, just imaginary signs, but you will be that quintessential whatever your sign is when you have a south node conjunct sun in that sign, okay? But you're meant to relinquish it, you're meant to let it go, okay? So what I would really suggest for you is to really look at your north node signature. Look at your north node and see what sign it is in, because you may need to learn to pick up traits and qualities from that north node sign and that house, the qualities of that house and the qualities of that sign. So that is what I can say about that. Let me know if this resonates with you. Do you feel that although you have claimed mastery and comfortability within yourself, within the sign that you hold, within the house that your sun sign is in, do you feel that although you've claimed mastery in it, that you have seen situations in life that clinging too hard to it has prevented you from growth in this life? That you being someone that is a little bit too comfortable within the self prevents you from shining in other areas of your life. Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know maybe what your actual sun sign is conjunct the south node, and I will let you know in the comments what exactly that could be meaning for you, okay? Because it's very important. It is especially important because the south node is a clue that lets you know what you are overcompensating for in this lifetime, and what can kind of be almost like a comfort zone that can be to your detriment if you do not release it. The south node shows a release. Although it is a blessing, although it is something that you have claimed mastery in, you are not meant to rely on it too much. You're meant to go forth and prosper in the opposite direction. Okay, so without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care. Bye. Let's say you have the south node conjunct Venus in your birth chart, okay? As we know, Venus is the planet of love, beauty, grace. It is also equally a place in the birth chart as an astrologer when I want to see where ease and flow and even potential love and money can be made. I look towards the Venus chart or the Venus placement in your chart, okay? Venus in the birth chart shows where blessings are being thrown to the person or being given to the individual, okay? And so wherever Venus is in the chart, it would show where you are someone that has a very easy time. You don't even need to lift your finger. You don't need to think twice about it. It just goes off without a hitch in that particular area of life, okay? And so for you, with the south node being the area of the tail end of your north node, the area of life that is of mastery. Wherever the south node is, it shows mastery. It shows what you may have mastered in a past life and what you may have been quite preoccupied within earlier in this life. And although it is a blessing, although it is a comfort zone and something that is almost a bit spiritual in that area as well, you are meant to release it. You are meant to let it go. You aren't meant to get too comfortable in that area, because you will find that when you do get too comfortable in that area where your south node is, you will find problems begin to arise in that area. You will find that certain situations and things around you are going to be pushing you away from that area of life or for whatever is touching that south node. And so when you have a south node conjunct your Venus, this is going to be the lifetime where you are kind of being asked to relinquish your ability to harmonize too often, or to be too sweet, or to be someone that seeks too much pleasure or harmony within others. This really gives me the placement of someone who has really mastered the art of compromise and relationship and sociability, right? And so this could be the placement of someone who is always thinking about the other person, always thinking about the other, always thinking about what is best for other people, but too much of anything can be a bad thing, you see. And so when you have a South Node in conjunct Venus, it really does show that for you, you may be someone who overcompensates or overgives, or you may bend over backwards for others, or you may be too compromising, and then that leaves you with the short end of the stick. That leaves you being the one that is always bending over backwards, you know. So so in this life, with that South Node conjunct Venus, although you have mastered the area of compromise, sociability, harmony, luxury, money, things of that nature, you are meant to go in the opposite direction. You are kind of meant to stand up for yourself in some way, shape, or form. Now, everyone's chart is going to be different. I don't know what you will be standing up for yourself within unless I had your chart in front of me, or unless I knew what your North Node is. But do know that you are meant to claim your individuality a bit more. You're meant to learn how to break a few eggs to create an omelet in this life. You're meant to not be so giving or compromising in this lifetime, okay? You may also need to find yourself outside of love and relationship in this lifetime, okay? Whether that be you just taking yourself out on a date, you being someone that goes to a solo movie date or a solo dinner, right? Like, you just will need to learn how to identify yourself outside of what you are dealing with other people, or what you are doing within love and romance, okay? So this is that type of signature. Also, it may just be explaining, again, I don't have your chart in front of me, but it could also be dictating that there's some discipline that needs to be implemented within your personality. You know, you may be too pleasure seeking. You may be someone that wants it to be too easy or too comfortable in life. And so you may need to learn to acquire some of your discipline and grit in life, your ability to go through some of the hard things and do some of the difficult things in life. Because if not, sticking too much to comfort, sticking too much to ease, sticking too much to pleasure could backfire on you, okay? Because remember, too much of anything is a bad thing. All right, so let me know if you resonate with this. I would also be very curious to know what sign your South Node conjunct Venus is in and what house it is in. Let me know in the comments below, because that would help me wrap my head around what particular lesson is being asked of you, where you are actually meant to release this energy. But I do know it's going to be definitely around pleasure, definitely around ease, definitely around your ability to compromise and find harmony. You're meant to kind of release it a little bit. You're meant to kind of stand up for yourself a little bit and learn how to say no, right? That's probably a big one. Learning how to say no, learning how to do some of the difficult things, learning how to choose yourself, right? You would be someone who probably would benefit from being friends with a Capricorn or being friends with an Aries, right? Those people who say no, all right, or who are able to go through the hard things in life to get to where they want to be or get some things done in life, okay? So let me know if this resonates. Also, let me know your particular unique position in your chart, all right? What I will say, because I always want to leave these videos with a dose of encouragement. You know, this is the Astro Motivational channel, and what I do want to say is that do know that you have mastered the art of love in this life. You are the quintessential lover girl or lover boy. You are someone who is so giving, so compromising, so easy to get along with in this lifetime, you know. But do know that that almost becomes self-sacrificial at times, because you aren't choosing yourself. In you being someone that is all things to everyone and all things to everybody, it leaves you on the back burner. And in this lifetime, the universe is giving you the miraculous chance and opportunity to go and find self, for you to identify with who you are and what you want in this lifetime, and knowing and acquiring the lessons that in order to do that, sometimes you have to stand alone. Sometimes you have to say, nope, that's not something that I want to do today, or that's not something I'm going to do for you right now, because I have to do what I have to do, right? And in that, you may actually find more respect from others. You may actually find deeper relationship with others, okay? And more importantly, especially for you, a deeper sense of self, a deeper sense of self-respect, okay? So without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Bye. Let's say you have a South Node conjunct Mars in your birth chart, okay? So as we know, Mars is the planet of fire, of energy, of, your ability to go out and get the things that you want in life. You know, if I ever want to see where a person is motivated in life, I look towards their Mars. You know, I see what sign their Mars is in and what house their Mars is in, because this is going to show me where this person is motivated, what gets them out of bed in the morning, you know, what they would actually fight for. Also, it equally shows me what is tiring you out. If I could guess what tires a human out, look towards their Mars. That thing that their Mars is in, that sign that their Mars is in, is why they're so tired in life, okay? It's also equally the thing that gets them up out of bed in the morning, okay? It's also the thing that they would fight about in life as well. So this is the Mars planet. It shows your energy, your vitality, your energy in life, okay? Now, with it being conjunct South Node, as we've discussed, the South Node is your past life signature. It is your past life's mastery and lesson, and it is something that bleeds over into this life. You know, it bleeds over into the earlier half of this life. So from the moment you were born, maybe all the way up until your late 20s, you will be operating under your South Node. It'll be a comfort zone of yours. It'll be something that's easy for you to do, easy for you to be dealing in, okay? Because it's a comfort zone that you brought from past lives, all right? So what happens when we have the South Node conjunct Mars in our birth charts, okay? When you have a South Node conjunct Mars, this shows that in a past lifetime and earlier in this here lifetime, you mastered the art of self discipline, as far as you going after the things that you want in life. You know, you being someone that may love to stand alone and being independent, you being someone that is a go-getter, a hustler, a fighter. You may really identify with that energy very well. You may identify with it so much that it becomes a skill. It becomes something that is almost like spiritual. You know, you become almost like a spiritual warrior or a spiritual hustler. And I don't mean that you're hustling within the realm of spirit. I mean, like, what you do it so well that it takes on a spiritual quality. That is what happens when anything touches the South Node. It takes on a spiritual quality. You know, in your ability to go after the things that you want in life, you may feel a certain sense of like, this is my birthright to go after the things I want in my life. This is the, you know, for me to do it by myself, for me to do it alone and go get it, you feel a certain sense of spirituality around that because you're so good at it, you see. But the caveat, and there's a big but with the South Node, is that although it is a blessing, although it is a comfort zone and a skill that you have mastered, it is something you are learning to relinquish in this life, unfortunately. It is something that you are meant to kind of not get too lost in or too comfortable in or overextend yourself within, because if you do, you're gonna find that the universe starts to push back when you do, okay? It's gonna start to, you know, create problems. It's going to create friction. You're going to find that because you are doing things by yourself so often, that brings contention or strife or struggle in your life. You're going to find that because you are too blunt or too brash or someone that is too quick or impatient, that becomes the detriment. You see, it is something around the Martian energy that you are meant to learn to relinquish. You're meant to learn a little bit more of togetherness, compromise, patience. You're also learning to ask for help. You're learning to collaborate in this lifetime. You are also learning to relinquish some of that independent streak that you have, some of that fighter spirit that you naturally have, okay? And you're meant to go in the opposite direction. And I know, listen, whenever I tell people what their South Node lesson is, they almost cringe because they're like, no, I love my independence. I love my ability to go out and get what I want. But as much as you love it, I'm sure you can relate and attest to this, that you will find that the more you do that, the more problems actually happen in your life. The more independent you become, the more, you know, you're out there going after it, the more burnout you get. You know, you're gonna find that in one way or another, there's gonna be problems in that energy when you are overdoing it or focusing on it too much and not releasing it, because the tool and the lesson in this lifetime is for you to release it, okay? So that is what I will say for that. What I would love to know for you out there, those who have this South Node conjunct Mars, is what sign is your Mars sign in? What sign is your South Node conjunct Mars in, and what house is it in? Write that in my comments below, because I would really, really like to know. And from there, I'd be able to write back to you what exactly you are meant to release in this energy. But I do know that a big, big component is releasing some of that independent spirit. You being someone who is learning to compromise a bit more in this lifetime. You're not being someone that's so, you're going to be that quintessential Martian energy. You want it now. And if you aren't having it now, you're going to go out and get it. If you can't go get it, you're going to fight the person who has it. You're going to be someone who's like, look, I'm ready. Like, let's go. And so slowing down could also be some of the things that you're here to learn as well, all right? But like I said, I won't know the full scale of what exactly you are here specifically meant to release and to learn unless I know that unique position. So let me know in the comments below, all right? Also, if you would like, let me know your North Node sign as well, okay? But let me know if this resonates with you. I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. Do know that you've been given such a gift in this life to be as powerful as you are. You know, you have a Mars conjunct South Node, which shows that you have inherent leadership skills and abilities. And it may just be meant for you in this lifetime to not use all of that energy just for you, but to use it for others, okay? Maybe to lead others or to inspire others or to fight for others, okay? That may be your biggest lesson in this lifetime, all right? So without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Let's say you have Mercury conjunct South Node in your birth chart, okay? As we know, Mercury is the planet of your mind, okay? It is your thought process, how you communicate, right? If I ever want to see in a birth chart where a person's mind is all the time, what they're always thinking about, I look towards their Mercury, all right? Wherever your Mercury is in your chart, that's the thing you're always thinking about. That's the energy you're always conceptualizing wherever your Mercury is. It also shows a little bit of where you are a bit busy, okay? Or it's also the area of your life where you love to communicate. The conversations you tend to enjoy having is a part of where your Mercury is sitting and the sign it is under, okay? So Mercury being the planet of communication, your ability to communicate, express yourself right, this is what Mercury holds. And so what happens when we have Mercury conjunct South Node? South Node is the energy of your past life signature. Okay, it shows what you have mastered in a past life, and it also shows what blessings you have brought over in this here lifetime, and something that you would be quite attached to in the earlier half of your life in this here lifetime. Okay, so from the ages of 1 all the way to your late 20s, you would be someone that would be focused on your South Node. You would be comfortable in operating under your South Node, but you would find that the more you operate under that South Node, and the more you are attached to that South Node, the more pushback you're going to get from the universe. Because remember, your South Node is the tail end of your North Node, which is your actual destiny. And it is something that you aren't meant to stay attached to or stay focused on in this lifetime. And the more you do, the more pushback and problems you will get, because you are meant to go in the opposite direction towards alignment to your destiny in this here lifetime, which is all about growth and mastery in a new lesson, a mastery in a new subject or area of life for you, okay? So what happens when we have the South Node conjunct Mercury? First and foremost, I'm going to say that you are probably someone who is incredibly brilliant in the mind. You are someone who is probably highly analytical, very smart, very quick, very witty. You know, you are someone who can have a conversation with anybody. You probably have the gift of gab with this energy. Remember, the South Node conjunct a planet is going to give you some blessings. Like I said, it's going to give you that thing that you've mastered. And so you have mastered the mercurial energy in life. You are someone who can write a book in your sleep. You are someone who can speak and probably debate with someone until the sun come home. You know, you are someone that just is very, very good in the head, very brilliant in the mind. You're amazing with your words. You have the gift of gab. You are someone who can speak to anyone with this energy, you know. But this is going to be the lifetime where you are kind of meant to relinquish that a little bit. You are here to learn to listen a little bit more. You are here to learn to not be so overly analytical. You are someone who is meant to not always have the answer or be so caught up in being correct at times with this energy, okay? You may find that the more you talk, sometimes you could rub people the wrong way or say the wrong thing, right? You may also find that you could put a lot of pressure on yourself with that Mercury South Node, right? Because you are always overanalyzing, over-conceptualizing, always thinking, you know, always speaking. This is going to be that lifetime where you could also be a bit busy as well. You may enjoy being busy. You may enjoy having things to do and having things to have to focus on with this energy of your South Node conjunct Mercury. You may also, what I love about the South Node is that it shows, it takes on a spiritual quality, and you may be someone that when you speak, there is such a, you have such a spiritual way of speaking, if that makes sense. You are someone that the way you speak, it could be about casual conversation. You could be talking about the lady across the street, right? But the way you have formulated those words will come out as so spiritual, if that makes sense. You are able to make the things that you are saying be so profound, if that makes sense. You know, you are really gonna be someone who has mastered the art of communicating to such a degree that it takes on a spiritual quality. I would also say, and that is a gift. That is a gift, and that is something that I'm not ever saying. That is not something that I'm ever saying that you should let go of. I am saying that you are meant to go in the opposite direction. You're meant to relinquish that a little bit more in this lifetime. You know, like I said, you may be meant to slow down. You may be meant to be someone who is okay operating in gray areas more than just black and white, right? Because you could be highly analytical and highly practical with this energy. You could also be someone who is also meant to learn to not gossip or learn to overtalk or steamroll conversations with this energy, right? Learning an equal exchange within conversations is something that you may be meant to learn. Maybe even taking on the opinions of others is something that you are here to learn in this lifetime, okay? But that, and in you doing this, this is going to help you find alignment towards your North Node signature, okay? So let me know if this resonates with you. Are you incredible with your words? And when it comes to this South Node conjunct Mercury, I do not want a paragraph in my comment section, because I know for you with that South Node conjunct Mercury, you are someone that you'll be typing and you'll look up and it's a novel, right? Give me a brief little description of if this resonates with you, and also let me know what sign, let me know what house your Mercury conjunct, your Mercury conjunct South Node is in your birth chart. Let me know the sign and the house it is under, because then from there I'd be able to let you know exactly what you are meant to release and what you are meant to truly let go, so that you can find alignment towards your North Node, okay? So do know that you've been given such an incredible blessing in this life, but do know that also this is the lifetime where you are meant to learn to slow down and listen. You are meant to consider the opinions of others. You are meant to What I also want to say about the Mercury conjunct South Node is that you may also be meant to outgrow outdated ways of thinking, you know, that limit your growth or limit your learning abilities. You may need to learn new ways of growth, new ways of taking on information, you know, new thought processes and habits in the mind, all right? You may be meant to outgrow outdated ideas as well with this energy of your South Node conjunct Mercury in your chart, okay? Learn to operate in gray areas a bit more in this lifetime, and you will find that in doing that, I know it may sound counterproductive, I know it may sound like, well, what is the use of that, right? I promise you, the universe has a bigger plan for it, and it is in you doing that you will actually find more blessings. You will find more ease in your life. You will find more flow in your life. You will attain destiny in you doing that, okay? So release it. Let go of that overcompensation within your mind, within your voice, within your writing, within your articulation, because you already have it on lock, all right? So now you just get to kind of sit back and observe a little bit more, all right? So without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Bye. Let's say you have the moon conjunct South Node in your birth chart, okay? As we know, the moon is the planet of your emotions. You know, if I ever want to see where a person is emotionally attached to, or what this person's emotional dependence is gratified upon, I look towards the moon, okay? Wherever the moon is sitting in the birth chart, I see that when that area of their life is going right, or when they are able to find comfort in that area of their life, they're happy. You're right? Or if that area of life is going a little wonky or bad, they are gonna feel bad. You are gonna feel bad, right? And also it shows where you are quite comfortable in, where you find comfort, where you are someone that is able to nurture others through, or find self like fulfillment and nurturing energy, or self-soothing energy, all right, through that area of life, all right? Now, what happens when you have the moon conjunct south node? The south node being your past life signature, okay? Wherever the south node is, it shows what you have mastered in a past life. It shows what you have done to such a degree in a past life that it has now bled over into this life as a talent and a blessing of yours and a comfort zone, all right? And you will be someone that is operating from the ages of 1 all the way to about your late 20s. You'll be operating under this south node comfort zone. You'll be in jobs that relate to it. You'll be in situations that relate to it because you'll be overly attached to that energy. You'll be someone that is good at that energy, so that you'll find like, oh, it's natural for me to be focusing on this area of my life, right? But you're gonna find that as you get older, because the south node is your past life, you are meant to let go of it. You are meant to release it. You aren't meant to find gratification in it anymore. And especially for you with that south node conjunct moon, you are gonna find that in over-identification within that specific area that your south node conjunct moon is, you're not gonna be able to find any more emotional satisfaction in that area of life, okay? And so let's get into it. What happens when you have a south node conjunct moon in your birth chart? First and foremost, it is going to show that you are going to be someone who has attained your ability to nurture, your ability to tap into your emotions and your gut instincts. You may also be someone who is a healer, or you will have natural healing abilities or qualities about your personality that when people are around you, they feel so safe, they feel so seen, they feel so nurtured. You know, even if you are a man, you are going to be someone who has a natural paternal and maternal instinct about you. You're going to be someone that is very, very intuitive and emotionally intelligent, because remember, whatever touches your south node is a blessing. It is something that you have mastered, and because your moon is conjunct your south node, you are going to find that you are someone who has mastered the realm of emotions. You have mastered the realm of healing and nurturing others and being emotionally intelligent, and people are going to feel that signature on you. They're going to feel that about you. And so you may find that you are someone that may find comfort in comfort. You may find comfort in being someone that is taking care of their emotions and honoring their gut feelings and honoring their emotional storms and fluctuations in life. Your ability to nurture and help others, you'll over-identify with this energy in life. And you may find that from the ages of 1 all the way to your late 20s, that you are going to be someone who may overgive. You may be overly empathetic. You may be in fields or in jobs or in friendships or relationships where you are over giving that emotional energy, okay? Although you're good at it, although it is a blessing of yours, you may find that it becomes something that you will then start to get pushback within, all right? As you get older, you're going to find that people aren't going to be as open to you nurturing them or helping them or want your healing abilities, you know, unless you balance it out by going towards your north node, okay, which is you relinquishing this energy. You may need to find better self-soothing habits. You may actually need to relinquish, like I said, your emotions. You know, you're going to be someone who is really, really emotionally motivated in life, and you may need to find that sometimes tempering your emotions, sometimes just not focusing too much on your emotions is what's going to help you in this lifetime, okay? That doesn't mean become cold, that doesn't mean become bitter, that just means learning when it is appropriate to allow your emotions to dictate what happens and what goes on and what you do in life, because that is something that is going to be needed of you in order for you to go and attain your destiny in this here lifetime, okay? You may find that being overly emotional is keeping you in the bed, right? It's keeping you depressed, it's keeping you too sensitive, it's keeping you too guarded, right? And in you being that way, it's preventing you from achieving different areas in your life. It's preventing you from going in different directions in your life. And so in this life, the universe is really encouraging you to temper that. It's encouraging you to be a bit more mature with how you handle your emotional world and who you give your healing to, all right? So you being someone that gets out of your comfort zones, releasing dependencies on others or in certain identifications is going to be something that you need to learn to do in this lifetime if you want to achieve your purpose and destiny in this lifetime, okay? And it's kind of a thing that is mandatory in this life, because you're going to find that, like I said before, you're going to try to do what you were doing from the ages of 1 to 20 with this energy, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work past 20. You're going to find a lot of pushback in it. You're going to find a lot of upheaval within it when you overcompensate in that area of life. All right, so let me know if this resonates with you. All right, let me know if, you know, from the ages of 1 to 20, were you working in fields, or were you in relationships or within friendships that required you to heal, nurture, mother, use your emotional intelligence in life? And did you find that because of that, sometimes you may have been walked on, or you may have gotten the short end of the stick, or you may have found situations in your life went wrong when you were just trying to help, when you were just trying to soothe others or help others? Let me know. Also, do you find that, yes, of course, you have an intuitive gift within you, and yes, you are someone who is very emotionally intelligent? Let me know if you have gifts or traits that have come out of this South Node conjunct Moon, because you most likely will. All right, your emotional degree is going to take on a definite spiritual quality, and sometimes this create spiritual gifts within the person. Okay, let me know. You could be quite intuitive, quite psychic. You could even be quite clairvoyant. You can just feel how others feel, and you are able to kind of shift the room when you walk in with your emotional essence, quite literally. Okay, so let me know. Also, let me know let me know the North Node that you have. Okay, but without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Bye. Let's say you have a South Node conjunct Jupiter in your birth chart, okay? As we know, Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion in life, all right? It is also the area of your life that is to do with your philosophies. If I ever want to see where a person is gaining luck in their lifetime, or where blessings will be funneled through, I look towards their Jupiter sign. You know, I look towards the sign that their Jupiter is under, because it is in them exercising in this particular area of life that they are receiving gifts and abundance, and where they will also find growth in life. Okay, it is also equally where this person will have natural philosophies around in this life. They'll be naturally like a natural teacher or guru in that particular area of life and in that sign of life. Okay, they can teach a class or a course on that particular sign or energy where their Jupiter sign is in. Now, with the South Node is the energy of your past life signature, okay? It is an energy of what you have mastered in a past life and what you have brought over into this life as a blessing and a skill that you possess in this here lifetime. And from the ages of 1 to 20 to your late 20s, you're going to find that you are going to be operating under that South Node energy. You're going to be operating under that comfortability with that within that energy. You know, you'll be a part of jobs, you'll be a part of industries, you'll be in clubs, cliques that have to do with that energy, right? Your life will be revolving around that South Node energy. But you're going to find that as you get older, the universe is going to start pushing back in this area of life. You're going to find that once worked is not going to work anymore in that particular area of life, because remember, this is your past life signature, and although it becomes a blessing in this life, it is something that the universe doesn't want you to get comfortable in. It actually wants you to release it. It wants you to let it go. It wants you to move on from it so that you can attain growth and mastery in new areas of life, so that you can find destiny in this here lifetime. And so what happens when you have a South Node conjunct Jupiter in your birth chart? You know, this is going to be a little bit of a tricky one, because it's almost like you have blessings. You are going to have blessings in this lifetime, tremendous blessings, and you're going to have such great good luck in this life that you will almost be a bit entitled at sometimes. You know, you may be someone that's just like doesn't feel you need to really do much, or you will feel as if you are gonna be someone who can just rely on chance and opportunity and luck in life. And that may work, that may have worked from the ages of 1 all the way to your late 20s, 30s, but you're gonna find eventually that luck kind of runs out. You know, you're gonna find that the more you rely on chance and opportunity and great granddad Jupiter, that Jupiter is gonna kind of step back and say, all right, I've done enough luck for you. Now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to go out and make luck happen through your hard work, through your ability to step out and go get what's yours. You know, that's what's going to be here with this energy. Now, I would also say with this energy, there's going to be a big component to your inherent philosophies, and you may find that you are meant to move on from outdated philosophies, outdated ways of thinking and believing and worldviews and you know, wisdom in life. You may be someone, like I said earlier in life, those particular wisdoms and thought processes would have been very good, but you may find that as you get older, there's a little bit of a relinquishment that needs to happen where you need to acquire new worldviews. You need to have new beliefs, new spiritual beliefs, right? You may even find that you are needing to release certain spiritual beliefs that you have, right? But you are going to be someone that makes an incredible teacher, an incredible philosopher, someone who is an incredible guide, an incredible guru, mentor for other people. Things of that nature can be seen with this energy, but you are also meant to learn to kind of relinquish the energy of relying too much on luck, relying too much on chance or opportunity, because you're going to find that there's pushback in that. And as ironic as that sounds, you are going to find that no growth happens when you do not apply yourself, when you aren't someone that is like actually out there doing it, because you're going to be given a lot of handouts earlier in life. You really are. You're going to be someone that's incredibly blessed, incredibly lucky, but it is in you sitting back too often and maybe a sense of entitlement that you will find that it goes wrong after a while, okay? So let me know if this resonates with you, all right? Let me know where exactly your Jupiter conjunct South Node placement is. Let me know what sign it is under. Let me know what house it is in, because that's very important. And then if you'd like, also let me know what your actual North Node is, because then that would help me be better able to guide you forward, okay? But without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best, much abundance and prosperity, and you take care. Bye. Let's say you have a South Node conjunct Saturn in your birth chart, okay? As we know, Saturn is the planet of discipline, of karma, okay? And so for you in this lifetime, this is gonna be quite a karmic life for you, because you have two quite karmic points in your chart, Saturn and the South Node meeting each other, okay? And if I ever wanted to know in the birth chart what a person's karma is or what their karmic lesson is, I look towards their Saturn. You know, I look to the house that it is in, I look to the sign that it is under, and through that, I'm able to decipher what this person's lesson is in this lifetime in order for them to achieve nirvana and achieve destiny in this lifetime, okay? And so what happens when you have a karmic planet like Saturn conjunct the South Node? The South Node being the area of your past life mastery. It is your past life signature, and it is also an area of life that from that past life signature, it is bleeding over into this life, you know, and it'll be an area of your life that you are comfortable in. You know, it's an energy that you're comfortable in, and you'll find that from the ages of 1 all the way to maybe late 20s, 30s, you'll be operating and focused on this area of life. But you will find that as you get older, that you start to see pushback. The universe says, this isn't gonna work anymore. You need to go in the opposite direction, which is your true destiny in this lifetime. And that requires growth. That requires uncomfortability, you know, because you're here to relinquish wherever your South Node is, although it is a blessing and a skill that you possess within you. And so what happens when you have the South Node conjunct Saturn in your birth chart? This is gonna show that for you, you may be someone in this life, well, actually in your past life, who has mastered the art of discipline. You know, you may be someone that is, you know, you will naturally come into this life being extremely serious, being extremely dedicated, almost being someone that's a little militant about certain things, because you will be someone that from that past life, whatever you went through, you have come to learn that you must do the work. You must be someone that gets things done in order to see results in your life and tangible success in life, right? But you may come to find that you over-identify with that energy. You may find that from the ages of 1 all the way to your late 20s, 30s, that the over-identification, the over-comfort zone that you have as far as it relates to your ability to be structured and disciplined in life becomes a detriment, right? So it's almost like you are releasing that karmic energy, that your karmic lesson is to release the rigidity, it's to release the structure, it's to release the cautiousness and the skepticalism within life, you know. This is something in life where you are here to learn to, I want to say you're here to learn to play a little bit more. You're here to learn to seek more ease and softness in life is what I am gathering from this placement. Now, I don't know what your particular North Node is, but just from this South Node signature, it shows that you are meant to learn to release, a little bit, to quite literally release and just breathe and like have fun, to let the shoulders come down, to not be someone who's always focused on the goal and focused on structure and focused on facts and focusing on order. Like, you're really here to learn to take a day off. You're here to learn to go play. You're here to learn to go find love and enjoyment in life, right? That it is not all just work, because this is the signature of someone who is kind of the workaholic, or someone who is work is something that they find comfort in, ironically enough, right? So you would do well by being someone who takes more time off, you being someone that is not so structured or disciplined or guarded or uptight at times can come with this energy. But yeah, let me know if this resonates with you, because this is quite a karmic placement. And it's funny that your placement is one of the universe asking you to soften up. It's asking you to not be as disciplined as you are, because you've already mastered it in a past life. You've already mastered it earlier in this life as well, where you were just, when you were a kid, you were probably always thinking about what college you wanted to get into, and during high school you were the one getting all the A's, and while everyone was going to the prom, while everyone was having a boyfriend, girlfriend, while everyone was out playing, you were inside doing the work. You were at home taking care of people. You were someone that is very structured, you see? And so you will find, though, in that energy, in that over-identification of that energy, other areas of your life that need your attention would be put on the back burner or not accessible, because you're over-identifying with the work aspect of life. You're over-identifying with, getting through the karmic lesson of things in life, okay? So this is what can be seen here. But do know that you would have incredible leadership skills. You would be such a sage or wise person with this energy. You would be someone who can get the job done, but do know that this is a lifetime, thankfully for you, where the universe is allowing you to play a little bit more, allowing you to be easy. It's asking for softness a little bit more in this lifetime for you. And that's a better lesson than most, because for most people, it's the opposite. The universe is trying to teach them what you've already come into this life learning and knowing, and being comfortable in, you see. And so for you, you're learning the opposite of just learning to play, learning to be easy, learning to flow in life, okay? So that is what I can say for that. Let me know if this resonates. Also, let me know what your South Node conjunct Saturn placement is in by sign and by house. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll let you know what this truly means for you, okay? It is only with that specific information that I will really, really know what is going on for you there, okay? So without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best. Much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Bye. Let's say you have a South Node conjunct Uranus in your birth chart, okay? This is going to be a very, very interesting and unique type of conjunction, okay? Because Uranus in the birth chart, if I ever wanted to see where a person rebels in life, where they do things a little off the cuff or differently from the norm, I look towards their Uranus placement and what sign it is under, because wherever it is, that's where the person is going to be rebelling in life. That's where they're going to really be seeking their independent streak in life, where they're going to be also exercising a bit of genius in that area of life as well. It's going to be that fine line between crazy and genius. To other people it's going to look crazy, but in actuality they are expressing genius, and it's going to be something that they are able to innovate within that particular area of life, wherever their Uranus is in, okay? And so what happens when you have a Uranus conjunct your South Node in the birth chart? The South Node being the area of your life that is of your past life signature, okay? It is the area of life that shows what you have mastered in a past life and what you have brought over into this lifetime. And it will be something that becomes a blessing and an area of mastery for you that you will be focusing on in the earlier life in this lifetime. So from the ages of 1 all the way to your maybe late 20s, early 30s, you'll be focusing and be quite attached to this area of life, with this energy of your South Node. And so you're going to find, though, that as you get older, there's going to be pushback in this energy. You're going to be finding that although you are quite good at this area of life and exercising that energy that your South Node is in, you're going to find little by little, and it's going to get bigger and bigger as you get older, that there's extreme pushback in this area of life when you try to over-identify with this area of life or stay too comfortable in that zone, in that area of life. So what happens when you have a South Node conjunct Uranus in your birth chart? This is going to be one that shows that you are going to be inherently different in life. You are going to be someone that, when people are going left, you want to go right. Not because right is the right way, but because everyone's going left. And so I'm going to be the one that's going right. You're going to be that great contrarian in life. You're going to be someone who can be highly intellectual, very, very different, you know, very genius level. Remember, whatever touches the South Node becomes an area of mastery to such a degree that it is something that is almost like a blessing. It's an inherent gift that you have within you. And so your gift is your brilliant mind and your genius level intellect and your ability to innovate and forecast trends. You'll be someone that can be quite the trendsetter, you know, or things of that nature with this energy. And that's great. That's awesome. That's amazing. But you're gonna find that in you over-identifying with your uniqueness and your ability to stand out, that it isolates you, you know, that it keeps you from making true connections with community and other people and friends and your peer groups. You know, you're gonna find that it really, really does put you in a place of disenfranchisement. You know, it puts you in a place of being othered. It puts you in a place of being the oddball out or the black sheep of the family, you know, because you will be someone who inherently just wants to do things differently. Not because, well, yeah, I want to say not because you want to, but it is going to be because you want to. It's going to be because you just want to, and that's going to be something you need to release in life, okay? You may over-identify with the lone wolf aspect of life. You may over-identify with being the crazy intellect that is very brilliant and doesn't need others, but that's going to be something that you need to learn to relinquish in life because it's preventing you from gaining growth and experience in other areas of life. You see, you've already mastered this in the past life. You were already someone that was working towards being as brilliant as you are and as unique as you are, right? But now that you have mastered that in the past life, in this here lifetime, now you are here to learn to seek out more community. You are here to learn to offer your differences to a group of people or to friendships that you aren't isolating yourself within, you know, because there is a way to still be different and to offer your innovative knowledge or your innovative ideas without othering yourself or without being alone all the time. You know, there's a way to do it, okay? So this is something in life that you are here to learn, because it is in you actually learning and releasing this that you are actually going to be able to attain your destiny in this here lifetime. There's going to be a component, a part of this, okay? It's very important. It's not just something that is a suggestion. It's not just something that is like, okay, you must, no, it's like you must release it in order for you to get to your destiny in life, okay? With this energy. So let me know if this resonates with you. Are you highly unique? Are you someone that dresses different, is different, thinks different, you know, talks different? Let me know if that is you. Are you someone who's highly intellectual, very brilliant in the mind, very innovative? Are you able to forecast trends and set trends in life? Let me know if this is you, because I've 9 times out of 10 know that it will be. Let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, let me know what sign and what house your Uranus conjunct South Node is in, okay? Because I would really, really love to know this. That way I'm able to guide you forward, all right? I will only be able to once I know that, you know, I'm given that information, all right? So without further ado, I want you to find a healthy way of being unique, but offering said uniqueness to the world, to people, to community, okay? Because that may be part of your destiny, all right? So you have a beautiful, blessed day. I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance, and you take care. Bye. Let's say you have a South Node conjunct Neptune in your birth chart, okay? This is gonna be quite a nebulous type of conjunction in your chart, okay? Because if you ever wanted to know where the more spiritual area of your life is in your chart, you look towards your Neptune. You know, if I ever wanna see where a person is taking on a very spiritual quality in life, where things are a bit more nebulous, it's just outside of their realm of understanding, or where they take on a very spiritual quality to those certain areas of life, I would look to the position of their Neptune. You know, Neptune is going to be that planet of fantasy, of illusion, of escapism. It's also an area of healing, right? Where you can be tapping into your imaginative and healing abilities, where you are quite creative in a certain area. It's also equally a place of illusion, you know, delusion. It's also an area of confusion. You know, it's all those illusions that you will be experiencing as far as it relates to your Neptune in your chart. You know, it's going to be, although you may come at it from a very spiritual angle, sometimes there could be some things that you aren't understanding in that area. You know, you don't understand how to quite ground it or how to get it in its full totality. You know, it could be something that is like, I just don't even know how to, the first thing around how to ground that area of my life, so I just avoid it or I just don't think about it. You know, that is what your Neptune energy offers in your chart. Okay, so what happens when Neptune is conjunct an equally spiritual type of point, being your South Node? The South Node is the area of your past life's mastery, and it is also an area that you have brought over into this life. It is a trait, a quality, a blessing that you have brought over into this life, that from the ages of 1 to 20 or your late 20s, you would be focused on, you would be comfortable in. But you're going to find that as you get older, that the universe starts to push back in this area. You start to see that things go wrong when you over identify with this area of life that your South Node is in. Okay, so what happens when you have a Neptune conjunct South Node? First and foremost, what I will say is that you are going to be a highly spiritual human being. You are going to be someone who is so ethereal, so healing, so trusting in the universe. You are going to be someone that is very, very good at the spiritual aspects of life. You may even be very good with animals, very good with plants, very good with anything that requires your nebulousness, your ability to be very transcendent, right? You will be someone who has mastered this area of life. But the caveat here is that you may also over-identify with the not so good aspects of this placement, which is you being someone who could be attached to savior complexes or saving others, or being someone that is so free that you don't care about tomorrow and you just want to be in your la la land. You could be someone who is very attached to your ability to escapism. You know, drugs and alcohol can be something that you may over attach yourself to as well with this energy. Okay, although it makes you someone who's highly creative, it also gives you that energy of being someone who can be a bit flighty or nebulous or confusing, and you will over identify with those themes in life as well. And you may find though that this takes you out of being a grounded individual. It takes you out of being someone that, because your head is always in the stars, you aren't able to achieve what needs to be achieved here on land. You see, you aren't able to really understand what is happening in front of you, or you aren't able to get up and go after the things that you want in life because your head is in the stars, you know? So, first and foremost, I'm not surprised that you're here in this video, because you would be someone that feels seen within subjects like astrology and tarot and mysticism. You may even be a mystic yourself, but do know that everything in life, as you may have come to learn, requires balance. And too much spirituality, although it is good, can become a bad thing. And I think that you're here to learn this in this lifetime. Too much of being a savior for others can turn into a bad thing. You know, too much martyrdom and self-sacrificing energy can be a bad thing. It can be a detriment. All right, too much disillusionment and escapism can keep you from actually achieving what needs to be achieved here in this lifetime for you, and that is something you are here to learn. So you must release your over-identification with spirituality and nebulousness and escapism and martyrdom in this lifetime, in order for you to get to your destiny in this here lifetime. Okay, it's going to be required of you. It's not a suggestion. It is a requirement in this life, and you will actually find, ironically enough, more spiritually in releasing that in this lifetime by going towards other things in life in this. Okay, so that is what I will say for that. Let me know if this resonates with you. Also, let me know what sign your South Node conjunct Neptune is in your chart. All right, this is a life for you where you are here to get grounded. You are here to plant 2 feet on the ground and see what is in front of you. Okay, this is going to be the time where you are, although you are trusting in the universe, you are still needing to do what you need to do as a human being, as a co-creator of the universe, to get up and create, to get up and influence with your hands, with your physicality in this lifetime, not just your heart and soul and your wishes and dreams. Okay, so without further ado, I'm wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care and be blessed. Bye. Let's say you have South Node conjunct Pluto in your birth chart. Okay, this is going to be a highly karmic and highly powerful conjunction, because as we know, Pluto is the planet of power and obsession and you know, power struggles. You know, if I ever want to see in a chart where a person may be experiencing transformation, trauma, where they could be gaining power, what they could be quite obsessed over in life. I look towards their Pluto placement in their chart, okay? And wherever their Pluto placement is, whatever area it is in, it shows me where this person will be claiming power, where they will be also equally obsessed within, and they will also be finding transformation and a bit of trauma in that particular area of life, okay? So with that being said, what happens when we have Pluto conjunct South Node? The South Node being your past life signature, okay? This is the area of life that shows me what you mastered in a past life. It shows you what you have come to master to such an extent that it becomes a blessing. It becomes a skill that you then inherit in this here lifetime, and you will be operating under that energy for the first 30 years of your life in this here lifetime. But you are going to be finding that as you approach 30 and as you get older, you are meant to release this area of life. And this is going to be a big one for you, because for you, releasing control is your biggest lesson in this life, okay? You will be someone who is very, very hands-on. You could be someone who could be very influential. Okay, I'm not trying to say manipulative, but this, you could err on that side where you could be someone that really, really wants things your way, and you want it your way or no way. And this could be in different areas of your life, depending on wherever your South Node conjunct Pluto is. You will want control in that particular area of life, and you are here to learn to relinquish it. You are here to learn to let it go, you know. Although you have come into this life being someone who will master the area of psychology. You will master the area of mysticism. You will master the area of the unknown. You will be a catalyst of change for others in their lives and help others through trauma, right? You may come to find, though, that too much over-identification in this area of life then traumatizes you. You know, you are here to learn to relinquish control and relinquish trauma in this lifetime and move past old struggles in life, old trauma in life, old burdens in life, right? Because if you stay identifying in that, it may reenact more trauma in this lifetime or more struggle in this life. Learning to let go of power, okay? Sometimes being vulnerable is the most powerful thing you can be or do, and that it could be something that's hard for you, you see? So this is this lifetime where you are here to learn to kind of relinquish control, all right? Learning to be someone that softens a bit, all right? Learning to not be so obsessed about certain things in life. And I will only know what you are obsessed with if you let me know where your Pluto sign is, or what house your Pluto is in, okay? So remember, you will come into life being someone who may even gain power in life. You may even become someone that's highly influential in one way or another. You may even be someone that can be a great psychologist or help others through crisis or change or transformation in their life. And that is amazing. That's an amazing gift and an amazing blessing of yours. But you are also here to learn to release control, release obsession, release your over-identification with your particular trauma in life. Whatever you've went through, you will overly identify with it. You will cling to it. You will say, you know, my pain is me. You know, and this is going to be something you are needing to evolve beyond in this lifetime, okay? So, without further ado, let me know if this resonates with you. I am wishing you all the best, much prosperity and abundance. You take care. Bye.